What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to TTB Ravens Media, bringing Ravens content every single day. If you want to see daily Ravens content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below and hit the notification bell if you want to get notified every single time I upload a brand new video. I'm here with Joshua. How you doing, Joshua? Today, the morning after a great Monday Night Football game. How you doing?
Hey man, it's nothing like Victory Tuesday. It's good to be a Ravens fan. Even though they put us through that hot storm, but hey, that's Ravens way, Ravens ball. We got the game. So you can go to work, you can take the day off, and feel good about it.
100%. And shout out to everybody that came to the before game stream and the after game stream that we did for the game last night. But what we wanted to talk about in today's video is, this idea that's going around is that Lamar Jackson has been the best quarterback in the NFL this season. And, statistically, he's been playing amazing. And so we want to talk about, is Lamar Jackson the best quarterback in the NFL? And the best way to do that is you have to measure him against the best quarterback in the NFL, or who most people would say is the best, which is Patrick Mahomes. So, Joshua, is Lamar Jackson this year better than Patrick Mahomes?
I mean, not even just being a Ravens fan. Granted, Lamar doesn't have all the passing touchdowns that Pat Mahomes do, but at the same time, in total yardage, Lamar has over 1,700 plus total offensive yards versus 18 NFL teams. I believe one of those 18 teams is the Kansas City Chiefs. So right now, I would have to say yes. In these 5 weeks, in these past 5 weeks, Lamar Jackson is the better QB. I mean, right now, he just, with all the depletions, all the injuries that we've been plagued with this year, he has shown what he can do. I mean, granted, it's been years where we've seen Pat Mahomes do all the craziness of throwing the ball the way he does, psyching the corners out and throwing the ball the other way and still, getting all those touchdowns and still winning it. But right now, they're going through a struggle. They're hurting. They're hurting on that offensive line. It's a new line. And even though we're going through the same troubles with our O line, hey, you got a quarterback, you got a franchise quarterback behind that, terrible O line that's making it happen. So right now, yeah, Lamar Jackson is the better QB right now.
Yeah, and looking at it, also we do want to hear what you guys think in the comment section down below. Let us what you think. But Patrick Mahomes this year and in previous years, he's always been a gambler. He's been labeled a gunslinger. Everyone looks at Brett Favre, everyone looks at Mahomes, and they're like, yeah, he's a gunslinger. He likes to. And last year it was like, oh, he's not being a gunslinger.
Mm-hmm.
Patrick Mahomes had over 20 dropped interceptions last year. And he didn't throw that many picks. Looking at the interceptions that he actually threw last year, he only threw 6. He already has 6 interceptions this year. Like, teams aren't dropping those picks. And that's something that is starting to come back to bite him, is this idea that he's gotten this idea in his head that are like, oh, they're just not catching the interceptions. And he has these great weapons. And so he's able to just go out and throw it up. Has Lamar Jackson ever been able to just roll out and just completely throw it up when a guy is completely blanketed and know that Tyreek Hill is just going to catch it? No. If Lamar Jackson ever tries to do that, Hollywood Brown moves out of the way, Miles Boykin moves out of the way, and then the other guy catches it. Like, unless the guys are open, Lamar does not have the receivers or the weapons to be able to just have them go up and make some crazy play like Mahomes has. And yes, Mahomes has that with Tyreek Hill. I don't want to take away from the Ravens receivers. They've been playing very well with Lamar, but Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce are the two best at what they do. Tyreek Hill's the best deep threat, best speedster in the NFL. Travis Kelce's the best pass-catching tight end. Mahomes has both. Lamar has, like, I don't want to say B-grade versions of them, but like Hollywood Brown is similar to Tyreek in just like he's a smaller receiver with great speed. He's able to get open underneath and things like that. And then Mark Andrews, good pass-catching tight end. And Lamar's doing more with that. And, he's able to take advantage of situations where he's having to escape the pocket. He's being sacked so often. He has been sacked 13 times. Mahomes is not being sacked that much. And everybody's talking about how Mahomes' offensive line and everything like that is very different, but he's got the number 1 graded center in the NFL in Creed Humphrey. He's only been sacked. I'm trying to find the exact number. I want to say it's 5 times. Very few.
7 times this year. 7 times.
7 times he's only been sacked. Lamar's been sacked 13. That shows, and Lamar's difficult to sack. He escapes the pocket. He gets out of a lot of sacks. And Lamar's still putting up not only more passing yards, on about 30 less attempts, he has more passing yards. He's rushing the football.
Yep.
He's top 10. Well, he's top 5 in passing yards, and he's top 10 in rushing yards in the NFL this season. Nobody's doing that. Lamar Jackson was the first player in a 5-game stretch to throw for 1,500 yards and rush for 300 yards. The things that he is doing, least of all, we can talk about last night's game, the 400 yards, highest completion percentage by anybody throwing for over 400 yards, highest completion percentage by anybody throwing 40 plus passing attempts. Those are the things that he's doing as a passer. Everyone's saying throw the ball, and he's saying okay, and he's completely shredding defenses. And Mahomes, on the other hand, since he doesn't bring that element of the run, they just play the pass. And it's working. The Ravens played cover 2 against him. The Bills played cover 2 against him. And it's completely shutting them down, it seems like, which everyone thought, everyone talked about this year was the year. Everyone figures out Lamar Jackson. Is this the year that teams are figuring? I say figuring out. This doesn't mean he's getting neutralized and he sucks. Patrick Mahomes is still a top tier quarterback. He's still the guy to beat. But it's almost like they're starting to get some recipes. How do you beat them? You got to get guys over the top and force the Chiefs into playing underneath and running the football and make Mahomes try to make mistakes, because he makes a lot of mistakes.
I definitely agree with that. It's just, I guess because everybody felt like, Lamar Jackson has reached his plateau. He's reached his ceiling as a quarterback. And honestly, having an offensive coordinator and having a RPO style running back. I've been listening to ESPN way too much. Sorry, y'all. Don't hurt me. Having a running style QB the way we do, you would think, yes, Lamar Jackson has reached his plateau. Look at the Tyrod Taylors, look at the Kaepernicks, and now we have Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson is already beating that narrative. Unfortunately, Greg Roman is a love-hate relationship as offense coordinator. Right now, he did okay. He did pretty good guessing and kept on running with it. But we got a couple more games, and we'll keep on doing our evaluation week after week. But you got to show that young man some respect. You got to love what he does. You got to love what he brings. He's just a young man that's got a lot of intensity. I don't know if y'all saw the clipping, but when they sent JT out there for the coin toss at OT, and when they saw that they got his and JT got the ball, he mouthed, "It's over." That's a killer instinct. We have not had that on the offensive side of the ball in a long time, and having that type of player on the offense for the Ravens it's very special, especially being able to draft that type of player and maybe possibly see him be the face of the Ravens for years to come. And it's a great time to be a Ravens fan, honestly. We love the competition, the battle, the rivalry that's being created between Pat Mahomes, Lamar Jackson. As a Ravens fan, I'm glad that Lamar was able to get that monkey off his back and get that, even though it was 1-2 in the series, and they meet in the playoffs. Hopefully, we can tie it, maybe 2-2. But we just got to keep on working. Lamar just had to keep on working. Got to do, and he just gonna continue to get better. Some things last night. I don't know about you, McConnell, but I do feel like we said it at the game live. He looked a little timid in regards to running because from how I was watching it, I know the game time is faster. When you're actually on the field, but it seemed like he had a couple lanes where he could have just made some things happen and not put that pressure on himself to make those completions in regards to throwing. I know the defensive guys are going at him, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. You gotta do what they got you here. That's running that ball sometimes. So Lamar just gonna keep on setting the bar even higher for himself. Everybody can keep on setting the narrative, and he's gonna keep on erasing it off his list. So he's that type of guy. Is like, hey, you give me this challenge, I'm going to accept it and I'm going to over exceed it as well.
Yeah, and I think Lamar, I'm a big basketball fan, very excited for the NBA to start. I think Lamar Jackson, I've made this comparison. I made this comparison a couple of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
His NBA comparison is Giannis Antetokounmpo. And everybody looked at Giannis. Everybody was like, oh, he can't shoot. Everyone looked at Lamar, oh, he can't throw. Well, one, it doesn't even matter that Giannis can't shoot because he's just so amazing at everything else in the NBA. But he
Yeah.
goes out there and he wins the MVP. And what does he say? After winning the MVP, he says, don't call me the MVP because that was last year. Then, of course, he wins the MVP again, back to back. And then the next year he goes out, wins the NBA Finals. And it's just like that kind of mentality that those guys have where like they're just proving people wrong. They're working hard. Like that, I think, is just a great comparison for Lamar. And obviously, hopefully he can follow in Giannis's footsteps and, win a championship and things like that. But just those players that have that chip on their shoulder where they're not, I don't like to take shots at other quarterbacks, but guys like Baker Mayfield, where he goes out there and like, it's all about, oh my God, that was so amazing. Yeah, let's go do that. And it's not about like, oh, Lamar has a great game and he's like, next week. Yeah, the pass is cool, but let's focus on literally next week. Because the ultimate, like if you're going to win the Super Bowl, it's not about what you did, it's about what you're going to do. And I feel like that mentality that he has gives him an advantage over a lot of people. And I think it kind of rubs a lot of people the wrong way because I feel like a lot of people like when people bathe in their success and they talk about, oh my gosh, when I hit that throw, oh yeah, that's when I knew it was done. Like he goes out there, he sits on the bench after he makes a mistake and he's like, I'm gonna be better. And he doesn't sit on those mistakes and he knows he can come back and he knows he can do it. And he leads the team by example. And I'm not saying Patrick Mahomes doesn't do that. I'm just saying that's a great quality of Lamar. And that's why when you see Lamar, when they're down in these games, every time Lamar's ever been down, the team's gotten close. Like everyone talks about the Chargers game in the playoffs. It's like arguably the worst quarterback performance ever. And the Ravens still had the ball driving with a chance to tie or win the game in that game because Lamar brought him back. Now Joey Bosa got the great strip sack, that ended the game. Like he's almost come back so many times because he's always fighting and he's always trying to get to that next level. And Mahomes this year has been the first year where it's like, oh, he's not coming back. Like watching the Bills game on Sunday Night Football. It's like you just completely expect like they got the ball back and it just seemed like, oh, here come the Chiefs. And they just didn't. And they lose by 18. The Chargers game. Oh, here come the Chiefs. And Mahomes throws a pick. And it's just like, whoa, what's happening? This is not the Chiefs that are coming down by whatever they were to Houston Texans when they were down like 20 plus.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't that team. Like they're not doing that. And no longer can people give the excuse for Patrick Mahomes versus Lamar Jackson and be like, oh, but Lamar has a defense. The Ravens defense has been terrible. It has not been good at all. Like, yeah, the Chiefs defense hasn't been good either, but the Ravens defense, I mean, that Colts game, it was not the defense bringing them back in the game. The Colts moved the ball every single time down the field and were able to score in the second half, except for a blocked field goal and a missed field goal. Mm-hmm. The defense allowed all those yards. It wasn't the defense just clamping them up. And Lamar was still able to put the team on his back. And I don't know. I just feel like that's something that I think a lot of people will say is like, oh, Lamar has a defense. And no, that's not the case. He doesn't have a defense. He doesn't have running backs. And he's still 4-1.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like you've said in previous shows, the narrative for the MVP race, the storyline, this is it. We went from top 10 defense, maybe top 10 best secondaries last year. Now, we're giving up huge runs, big plays, lost a lot of guys. People will still say, we lost some of our best edge rushers in Yannick Ngakoue and Matthew Judon. That's something that can always be argued. But at the same time, the Ravens way is next man up. We got guys that we can work with in the stable, but Even our young hitters that we thought was going to be the, the young guns on the defense with PQ and Malik Harrison. In these past 5 weeks, these guys has been whiffing air, been hitting air, you know.
Oh yeah.
And it's definitely frustrating to see because growing up watching Ravens football, defense is what led the way. Defense is what won us games. Defense is what really brought 2 championships back here in Baltimore. Now you seeing high power offense. Now you seeing an offense that can battle back. Now you seeing a quarterback that knows how to keep his poise, rally his team around. Say, hey, that's my bad. Let's get out here. Let's go ahead and do it. Hey, coach, it's 4th and 1. It's 4th and whatever. Yeah, I want to go for it. Let me take my guys into war and let me lead them to battle. And that's what exactly this offense is doing right now. And this offense doesn't have a strong O line. Like you said earlier, 13 sacks. 13 sacks. My man still got 8 passing touchdowns. And he's leading the league in total offensive yards. It's an insane storyline. This is almost reminds me of how Aaron Rodgers just finds a way to make the impossible possible. So I love what's going on. But the thing is how long can this keep going on in the 17-game season?
Yeah. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to hit the subscribe button down below if you enjoyed. Let us know what you guys think. If you think there's other arguments, other cases to be brought up. There's a ton of things. Didn't want to make an hour-long video talking about Lamar versus Patrick Mahomes. But if you guys want us to talk about it more, we can do that. But thank you, everybody, for watching. Subscribe for Daily Ravens content. We'll see all of you again tomorrow.